Good job, Janelle, Nick, Denise, Jim. Good job. We got the big picture right here. Increased sales, lower costs. Sounds like a winner to me. Thanks for joining me on Reno. You know, times have changed. They began changing back in the 90s when we moved out of the modern era in the 70s and 80s and moved into the postmodern era. Now, I don't know if you heard that word before, postmodern, but it has a lot to do with the way people think about the purchasing process and look at your individual products. So let's talk about the postmodern consumer, how they're different than they used to be 20 years ago, and what they're looking for from you. It'll help you bolster your margins and attract new customers that are seeking a greater sense of, shall I say, relationship, fulfillment, meaning, depth. All these attributes go into the postmodern purchasing experience. Let me clarify. Back in 9/11, there was a sudden shift. I'm sure all of you have a sense of this, where people began to realize that quality of life and relationships were possibly more important than having a bigger house, a bigger car, a more elaborate vacation. There was a perceptible shift in what people were looking for, the attributes that were being promoted in advertising or promotion by salespeople and so on. They were starting to talk about how products and services allowed you to be your best self. The whole concept of self-actualization. I'm sure you've heard of that before with Maslow, and kind of being the best person you can be if you know how to position even the most mundane product or service. I don't care if it's carpeting or building materials or financial services, all of them can indirectly come back to helping the user be a better person, somebody who is more connected, not only to other people, but to the environment and to the world as well. This is where cause marketing comes from. It's enjoyed an enormous resurgence, thinking about the greater good and how your product actually contributes to the world at large. It's different context. In fact, if you're an employer and you're trying to attract employees, they're looking for quality, not necessarily just a paycheck so they can get out. They're looking for a place where they can actually be a better person, maybe work on their flaws and their weaknesses and transform themselves. So postmodernism is all about transformation. Even a simple purchase of 50 cents or $5 or $10 can be a transformative, at least symbolically, can be a transformative act. Your product needs to get in the flow. Think about how your product can be postmodern. You can be a postmodern company. You can attract postmodern consumers because they've got the money and they're looking at you. This next segment of NXBIZ Success is called Turbo Talk, where we have our 4 small business experts and they address as many common everyday questions that as they can in a short period of time. Many of these questions have come to us through NXBIZSuccess.com. You may want to check out the website. Meanwhile, all 4 of you are ready to go, right?
Yes.
Absolutely.
All right, Janelle, we'll begin with you. Dear MBS team, my partner and I needed a new sales boost for our service organization. We searched all over and hired an experienced gentleman, a sales manager, great references, and a great resume. However, it's been 60 days. There have been no new sales. My customers don't seem to warm up to him. My salespeople don't particularly like him. Now I'm looking at 60 days. What do I do? Janelle, what's the solution on this?
Well, you know, it's a tough question you're asking here, Lynn. I mean, you need to ask, why did you bring him in? Was it to do a new level? I mean, so maybe you need to give the guy a little more time. I mean, if you're coming in with a new concept, 60 days might not be enough time. However, you need to ask yourself, you need to do some evaluation with your current sales staff. Is there a problem within your organization, cancer? They don't want to allow someone new to come in. Lots of times they feel threatened, and then that's an issue. But the bottom line is you need to do some evaluation with your customers, the people that write the checks, that keep your business afloat. Yeah. Why don't they like him? Because if they don't like him, at the end of the day, you're going to have to cut him, because you need to make a divorce quick so you can keep your business afloat.
Anybody else on this?
Act proactively and as quickly as possible. You also need to remember that 90 days, 90-day probationary period in the state of Nebraska.
All right.
There you go. Good
advice. All right, Nick, you ready for number 2?
Ready.
Okay. Dear MBS team, my small company was built around a patented product, which gave us a good ramp up or a good start for 2 years now. However, a large company, a competitor of ours, has basically stolen our technology. They're using the same product and ignoring all of our cease and desist letters. We can't seem to protect our patent Meanwhile, our customers out there are confused. What do we do with this situation?
Lynn, first I'd look at the cease and desist letters. If these come from an attorney, make sure they're very strong. You have a good firm behind it that's going to mean something to the company that's receiving that.
Okay, great point.
And let them know that if they don't cease and desist, there's going to be some consequences. Second, it sounds like if their company has been built off of this, it sounds like a good patent and a good product. So an alternative, if you can't get the other company to cease and desist, talk to them. You might want to enter into some kind of a licensing arrangement where you license the patent. So that might be a better revenue model for you than trying to build it yourself. Or maybe you do both. If that doesn't work, talk to another competitor and maybe license it to that competitor. One way or the other, there's ways to turn that patent into some revenue. If none of that works, you can also look at another investor. Somebody might invest with the company, give you some more cash, give you some more ability to grow the business. You might grow it yourself, or you might look for somebody that's going to buy either a majority stake or all the company from you and let them take it and grow the product line from there.
Okay, Nick Neiman. Number 3. Denise, are you ready?
Yes.
Dear NBS team, 2 years ago we hired an outside bookkeeper to help us with payroll and taxes. This particular gal didn't seem to understand how to file the 941 withholding tax, payroll tax, and so on. Now we have a problem. The IRS has been on us. We've sustained a lot of penalties, and it's costing us a lot of money, and we're frustrated and angry about the whole situation, which seemed completely unnecessary. What do we do with this situation? Just move on, or do we go after her and sue her for some kind of damages?
Well, I think there's a couple different things. As a business owner, we aren't expected to know everything in our head. I think it's important we all have a good team, and on that team you need an external accountant and you need an external attorney. And I think it's very important, no matter if you're outsourcing your work, which is kind of getting common these days, to people who are working from home, that you're trusting them, but you also need that third eye, process procedure 101. As a certified public accountant, there's always that professional skepticism that you need to have. And you need to make sure that, one, it's documented what's expected of them, and two, you have that third person that's looking at it and seeing what's doing. And then ask your accountant, your third-party accountant, to go with you to the IRS and help you negotiate the fees and those kinds of things that you're going to have. But I think it's important as an owner not to get tied up in all that mess of chasing them. Focus on your business and what you need to do, and cut your loss there right away and take it as a lesson learned.
All right. Good lesson. Ready to go, Jim Zapersky?
Absolutely.
All right, our local engineering firm has always done very well, but work has dried up lately. We hired an outside consultant. He's recommended that we go outside our marketplace where we're not known and go out there and try to sell our wares in another state or maybe even on the other side of the country. This seems like an interesting idea, but rather expensive and high risk. Jim Zapersky, what should he do?
I would recommend looking at two things. First of all, the lowest hanging fruit is always selling more to the current customers and the current clients that you have.
Sure.
Have you really gone down your customer list and seen how much you can, and talk to those people? Can you get more business? Is there more work? Can they refer you into more work and more business because they can refer you better? You also want to look outside your geographic region, and it may cost you money to go do it, but if you don't spend money, you don't make money. And so you need to spend money locally, generating more revenues from your current customer base, and you do want to look and see also what's our core competency, what can we really sell that's better than someone else in St. Louis or Kansas City that we can do here for them that they can't get locally.
All right, great solution. In less than 30 seconds, we have our final answer. Dear NBS team, our health insurance premiums have gone up yet again, another 20%. We cannot absorb the extra costs. We're afraid that people are going to leave if we pass the costs along. In 15 seconds, guys, what do we do about this situation? Jim?
I think you have to talk to the employees and let them know that they may have to help shoulder some of the burden if they would like to continue with benefits in the company.
Denise, any thoughts?
I would agree. Education is key. Helping them understand that it's not all going to the pocket to the owner. That's what they think. They're trying to pass it off so the owner can get more. No, you're trying to create a great environment that offers benefits to them.
Nick, any quick questions? 10 seconds.
Every company's facing the same thing. The only way we're going to get our handle on these kind of costs is you got to share the premium, share the cost.
All right, Janelle, we got to wrap up. Thanks very much for joining us on Turbo Talk. All of our experts, we got a lot done in 5 different questions. Thanks, guys.
Thanks, Lynn.